Good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are, and welcome to another NerdTube review of Hawkeye, Episode 5, entitled aptly Ronin. I am joined by my normal cohort in arms for these past couple weeks, Zanta Claus. How are you doing? How's my sack of goodness doing over there?
Well, hi. Merry Christmas, my friends. It's good to see you all, and I can't wait to talk about Bronin.
Okay. And speaking of Ronin, we have down at the bottom there, Ronin. How are
All
you
right, guys, how
doing?
you doing? I'm doing all right.
Good. All right. Well, we're gonna jump into this episode right now. So the beginning of this episode, kind of like the pre-intro of this episode, actually takes us back to 2018. I was at 2015, 2018, where we have Yelena Belova and another Red Room liberator going around trying to liberate people from the Red Room with the red magic dust from the movie Black Widow. uh, Bait and switch here. The lady was never brainwashed, so I didn't exactly catch too much of their backstory there. I mean, I think they thought that she was a Red Room infiltrator, but she actually really wasn't.
I wonder how she was liberated in the first place. That got me interested.
Well, I
That
mean,
she's
I
no
don't think she
longer
was ever
brainwashed.
brainwashed. I think is what they said.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah, because she's like, it's like, oh, you thought I was brainwashed? And they're like, well, yeah. So we get a couple interesting scenes. They're saying she ruins their rug. She says it's a $20,000 rug. And we get an interesting thing where Yelena goes into the bathroom, and we find out that Yelena was blipped. We had kind of rumored it before, but we actually got confirmation today that Yelena was actually blipped. So a lot of people had been speculating that Yelena had been blipped because of the way that Black Widow was no holds barred trying to save everybody from uh, from the snap. But now we know that there was even more of a personal thing there with Yelena being snapped as well. So I mean, I know that Black Widow wanted to bring like everyone back, but she had a legitimate personal stake in it to bring at least Yelena that we know of back. So I'm glad I know that, and I like the way they did it because it seems like every time we get like a person who's been blipped, we get like a different rendition of it. Like with Monica Rambeau in WandaVision, it was you kind of saw her piece herself back together close up, and then she kind of came to. In this one, you saw it from Yelena's perspective, where everything kind of phased around her, and you saw was the room change and the paintings and everything, and then all of a sudden it's been 5 years later. So I really like the way that they're doing different versions of this. Zam, go ahead.
It's very different to Far From Home because they just came back like that, didn't they? There was no like particles or anything like that. They just came back, which was
Mhm.
very
There was
interesting
a
too.
stop.
So
Hmm.
Daniel Vance also says it was interesting seeing the blip from a blipped perspective. That is a very good way of putting it. A blip from a blipped perspective. That should be the name
Hmm.
of Zam's book when he comes back. Uh,
Hmm.
Ronan, go ahead. Give us what are your thoughts on this kind of like prologue of this episode?
It was good to see that sort of like what it would be like to sort of like wake up, you know, sort of like have one reality and then all of a sudden without you even knowing it, have 5 years just be taken away from you because she literally like comes back and like she's like saying like she hears a noise. She's like who is that? She's got her weapons up and she sees mummy who's that lady? She's like Linda. And she's like what's going on? And it's literally like it'd be like something out of a horror film where literally like time has passed for one person but they haven't for another. And it's like oh yeah this has happened. It's like oh god horrific. Um, and it was good. It was good to see that there was actual reality around what happened and that it was tied into the Black Widow movie and the the red sort of demystifier, let's call it that, the red liquid that sort of like detrans tube. So I like that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
As I said, I mean, it'd be cool if it was like somebody from the movie, like maybe like somebody that she freed, maybe like it was like another one, like one of the more famous people from the Red Room. But you can't have everything. It's good to see her back.
Yeah, I mean, I actually, I mean, I actually really liked this. Just it kind of gave a little, as I said, a different perspective on how things was going, how someone comes back from being blipped is kind of handled. But then, so after that, do you guys have anything else to add to this prologue at all before we move on?
Nope.
Well, I did like the fact that her friend was still there, and she's like moved on with her life. She's got married. She's adopted kids because remember, the Black Widow girls can't have children. So she
So she
adopted a
adopted.
kid. So she adopted a kid, got married, settled down. Kind of
Painted the
reminded me.
bathroom.
Yeah, painted. Remember the long kiss goodnight with Gina Davis, like that.
Mhm.
Put her past behind her and just become a mom. But then she said, "Oh, I have to find Natasha," and you think, "Oh no, we know where this is going." Natasha ain't there, baby. So yeah. But then, after that, we cut into the main story. So yeah, this
Okay,
was
so we
definitely.
get the
Sorry, this
intro.
was
We get
definitely. This was definitely Yelena's episode, without a doubt.
Yeah. Well, for the most, I mean, yeah. Yeah, because we didn't see much of Hawkeye in this episode. I mean, we saw in certain parts, um, but yeah, I believe. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of an expansion on Yelena's character. Which honestly, when there's only 6 episodes, I actually have to knock this a little bit because it's not Yelena's show; it's Hawkeye. And I mean, I know we got some Kate Bishop in there, so I guess that makes sense. But they put a lot of focus on Yelena Belova for it not being her series. Like I understand getting like the prologue and everything, but then we follow her around a lot during this episode. So I don't think it's bad, but it was odd to me. Um, so okay, so we go through the opening credits and everything, and or the opening whatever, and Kate returns home to talk to her mom, and this is kind of like a heartfelt mother daughter everything, which I think is all shenanigans anyway. And then she finally at the end tells her mom, "Hey, me and Clint were looking into this really big." Gangster thing. I don't remember exactly how they worded it, but this really big thing going on, and Jack's in it somehow because there's a shell company and Jack is the CEO.
Sloan
So
or something like that.
go ahead.
It's called Sloan or something like that. And
Yeah.
I was like thinking, it was like thinking, well, I mean, like, because this is making me think that Santa Claus was right all the time. That that the mother was involved because she looked basically like she set up Jack to be the fall guy.
And that's
She
what I
wasn't.
think as
She
well.
wasn't
I've been
surprised, was she?
saying, go ahead.
Oh yeah, none of this like when they were talking, how she put in the ointment on her eyebrow and shit. She was saying, like, and then Kate revealed to her that she thinks Jack is part of this conglomerate, which is doing shady stuff, and there was no surprise at all from Kate's mom. She knew Wagwan.
Hmm.
So yeah, I
That
wasn't
that's
surprised. I do
that's why
feel
I
in a
think
way.
that Kate's mom is going to be the swordsman, and Jack's just kind of a fall
The
guy. Like
swordsman? No, no, no.
I
No,
don't.
we already know Jack's a swordsman with the fencing thing in the second episode.
Okay, he's good at swords, but he's not the villain, the swordsman villain.
No,
Like
but
he's gonna be
swordsman
the
is not necessarily the swordsman is like a bit like Agatha Harkness. He's not always a villain and not always a hero. It's just
okay.
a
Well,
portrayal. It's just it's the swordsman. Now I think if anything, I think we're gonna see Jack later on come in as the swordsman and helping out Hawkeye and stuff and getting his fucking blade out and all of that. That's what
well,
I think.
that's what I'm saying. I don't think he's the villain. Like I think she's the villain. She's gonna be. I mean, okay, so you're saying the swordsman's not the villain, okay? But I still think that the mom is still the. I mean, we know now because we
Yes,
saw at the end of the episode. So,
yes.
okay, you guys have anything else to add about? I mean, this conversation was pretty brief and kind of, I don't want to say basic, but kind of just
Like it was kind of like it's kind of the thing that you see in some movies where you see like the person tells the person they trust, but the person they trust is really behind the thing. I mean,
Well,
again, that is a trope by now. That's a plot where the person's double trusting them and stuff like that.
Oh, look, there's still a possibility that he could be working with the mother, but he's come across a little bit dopey, and that's because he's a sheltered man who's had everything done for him. Look, I love when Jack says, "I've not worked a day in my life." He's telling the truth. The guy is a fucking playboy billionaire, millionaire. You know, he doesn't know what work is. You know, he's really
right?
naive, and that's why he's being manipulated by Kate's mother, because she can manipulate an idiot like him. Yes, he has talent when it comes to being a swordsman, but he's not all there in other departments. You know, like that's why he can't say catchphrases correctly. And once Kate Ship mentioned the fact that he was part of this crime thing, which obviously the mother implemented him on so she could keep her hands clean, she had to frame him so the daughter wouldn't think that Kate's mom is part of this.
Okay. So, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, there's obviously, and as I said, we all know that the mom is behind a lot of this, whether she's a swordsman or not. Okay, I guess you can argue that fact. Next, we move on to a conversation between and I don't remember his name, the guy and Echo Maya, where she's also recovering from the fight in the previous
Yeah.
episode, and she was basically they're trying to figure out what's going on because Yelena's not with them, obviously, so they're trying to figure it out what's going on, and and pretty much the guy, I don't remember his name. The guy is,
Is it Kazi?
it
Kazi or
might be
something like that?
Kazi. I think you might be right. I think it's like
Yeah.
Kazi. Um, now that you mention it, I think that Kazi is trying to convince her. Look, you're kind of you're digging. You're gonna hurt yourself. You're gonna kill yourself going after all this. So and so that there's a little bit more character development between these two. But I really feel like, in my opinion, I really feel like Echo is an afterthought at this point. Like,
Well, can I ask you guys a question? This is not a got your question. This is not a would, because we know that Echo's got a series coming up. Are either of you interested in watching it? Because
Yes.
I mean, the some of it, which is that, like, it's interesting to see like a disabled character, portrayed as a superhero. But I don't think we've got enough character from her to make me interested in the series. That makes sense. So I'm kind of torn because I mean I wanted more character depth and maybe development with her. If that makes sense. What do you two think?
I'm interested in seeing a series with her. I mean, end of
I
the day, she's just a supporting character in the show. She can't supersede Hawkeye and Kate. You know, so
Yeah, but I
it'll be
really, I
interesting.
really feel like that the hype of Yelena Belova being in this, um, I really feel like Yelena Belova, being in this it just trumps anything that Echo would have had. I don't care. I mean, she was a good couple episodes foil, and that's fine if you want to spin her off into another show. But I really feel like that she's just getting, like, especially now that Yelena's here, I really feel like it just doesn't matter. I mean, you've got the big reveals in this episode. You've got a lot of big reveals in this episode, and
Look,
you
I
know,
want to piece. I'm trying to piece certain things together. Like, for instance, I think there's times when Echo could have killed Kate Bishop or definitely fucked her over, and she hasn't. And that's because she knows that she's working for her mom, And it's like when Bishop shot her in the shoulder, she just retreated, no revenge or nothing. She just, because she can't afford to kill the daughter of her boss. So she's in a very complicated situation, and you can tell she's stuck between a rock and a hard place. She wants revenge as well. But the thing between Kazi and her, do you think they have some sort of romantic relationship going on? I believe Kazi cares for her, but
I
it's
thought they were related.
no, 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 no,
Oh, I just,
no, no.
as I said, I don't care enough to invest in this. Like, she's okay for an episode or two, but after the whole like with the tracksuit mafia, I don't care that much. I mean, I don't have an issue with her being deaf or anything like that. That doesn't hurt the character. I just feel like she's not giving enough limelight to matter at this point.
Now, I just want to go to Daniel Barnes here. this could be another bait and switch. Yeah, and the reason being is that I think Ghazi could be the informant if he's trying to make us think that, but it could be Kate's mother. You know, because it's just an informant, and if we got it over the phone or whatever, then his partner would never have known what the informant looked like.
Yeah.
I,
So
but yet again, he wasn't there,
yeah, but
and
it's
his
supposed
uncle.
to. It's
Go
supposed.
ahead.
It's no different to them making us want to think that uh, Jack is the bad guy. This is the same technique they're doing here, in my opinion. It's the same thing.
Okay. So the next scene we get is a quite a lofty scene, literally in a loft. We got Kate Bishop returning home, well, to her apartment, and she is greeted by Yelena Belova. And so now, Yelena is in all her badassery in the last episode on that rooftop fighting, and she gives her that no, like, don't you, like, when she's holding her arrow up there, she's like, don't you dare do it. And then, so she's doing that whole badass assassin thing. And now this episode, she's making mac and cheese. Okay. Um, I'm indifferent about this because in one case they really build her up as a badass last week, and not that this takes away from that badassery, but it just is definitely a jarring. And we know she can be like this because we've seen her in Black Widow, so we know she can be like this. But I really wish they would have differentiated between like work Yelena and like outside of work. Like when she's on assignment, she is on.
She's
You
You
know,
still
mean you mean
working.
you mean you'd rather that she was all business and you didn't get any sort of
until
like
her
joke?
until her assignment is done. Yes, I kind of, but it's the MCU. You got to have some comedy. Her and Kate are having nice, mac and cheese.
I mean, I personally would rather that this was a little bit more tense. If that makes sense, that there was a little bit more tension in the air, and like maybe like she jumped to sort of like break it. I agree with you, Cheeto, that it just I don't know because like Yelena could have come off like that because because she's got the woman army and that she thinks that Clint killed her sister and she's getting paid for it, so she's like she's dully on. She's like I'm gonna warn you, don't and there's a lot of things, but I do understand that they decided to break a lot of that tension by just having been a little bit not slapsticky, but just a little bit jokey.
No,
And again,
Now, we'll
sorry.
get to
Go
you in
on.
a second, Xanta. Wait your
Go
turn.
on. I apologize.
but again, it was good to see Yelena Belova, character again because I like Forest Pugh quite a lot, and she has that sort of like jokey side to her personality.
Okay, Xanta. Now you can sit on Gary's lap and say what you need to say. Okay.
Look, I think
That's it.
both of you guys have got this totally wrong. This reminded me of one of Quentin Tarantino scenes. You see, the calm before the storm.
Yeah.
They
Well.
have they have a conversation, and you think it's going nowhere, and then boom, it gets a little bit more serious. Now, Yellow Blower is not like somebody who just goes around killing any old person. She has a target, and her target is Clint Barton. Now how she went about it was very interesting. She already told Kate that I can kill you anytime I want. She even referred to her as Kate Bishop the whole time. This is a power trip. There were psychological elements of it. I'm in your house. I'm cooking your food. You got to see the little things that makes it such a powerful moment. And then she's being very trying to be very friendly with her at the same time, using all these tactics, to get through to Kate and try to find Clint. And at the same time, she's very honest. Once Kate asked her, "What are you going to do when you find Clint?" She said, "I'm going to kill him." When they got to that, and then it just turned into a much more tense moment. And Kate was frightened the whole time. You could see it. She was on guard. This woman's in my house, and she didn't know where Hawkeye was, and Kate and Yelena believed her, and I just loved all of that. It was a very, very good scene. The professionalism Yelena showed was very, very good. She wasn't in play mode. She was in work mode. When you're a Black Widow, It's not just about going around and putting 2 bullets in people's heads. It's the interrogation. It's the espionage, and that's also part of it too. That's what she was doing, and I very much appreciate it. I thought it was very good.
Okay, well, I guess Santa's sack is full. Santa's sack is full of Yelena cheer. So, moving on to the next part. I already. Yeah, Kate learned from Yelena that information is power, that it can be put off guard just as easy as being a bow point at you. Yeah, I mean that was the point of that whole conversation, pretty much. I just, as I said, the mac and cheese was. I already did these, Sam. This one's new. Yelena is wearing a toucan brooch after meeting with Kate. In symbolism, the toucan is using your voice as beneficial ways. A reoccurring theme with Kate.
Interesting.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Okay, so the next part we have Clint Barton showing up at the LARPer's house. He needs a place to lay low. He took Pizza Dog, and they're laying low at the guy's house, the LARPer's house. Apparently, they're Grills. Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently the new uniforms are there because he did. Hey, you want to see the new uniforms? And Clint's like, yeah, I do, but later, or something like that. And then he just falls asleep. There wasn't much in this scene besides, I believe did he call Laura at this point? I can't remember.
Yes, because the one thing that is still quite a mystery so far is this bloody watch. I've been looking at lots of different YouTube videos regarding this watch, and the speculation is all over the fucking place. Some people think the watch belongs to Hank Pym. It's crazy. At the same time,
I don't think it belongs to Hank Pym.
At the same time, I think there's a couple of things that need to be revealed now. Yes, we kind of know Kate's mom is the baddie. We know Kingpin's in this. We know so many things, but we need to find out a little bit more about Laura, and we need to know what the fuck this watch is about. Other than that, everything's hunky dory.
So they have a little quaint conversation, and you're right. They do tease more about Laura's history, and I'm beginning to believe more and more that she was an agent, and she's just
retired.
But yeah, she's retired because she started, having kids. Not that she can't still spy because she had kids, but Hawkeye's Hawkeye, and so it just made sense for Laura to, keep up the homestead. So okay. So we have any guy, Gary, you got anything to add about this?
Grillis is looking after the dog, and that dog likes his pizza, huh?
Yeah, he's Pizza Dog. My Pizza Dog. Pizza Dog. Riker. Pizza Dog.
Do you ever feed him pizza?
My Pizza Dog has both eyes. No, I don't give him pizza because he'll have the runs for days.
Oh, interesting.
So now we get to the next point of the episode where it is Kate Bishop comes home again, and Jack is being escorted out by the police. Speaking of which, with these police, Kate Bishop never went down to the police station to talk to the detective. I don't ever remember seeing that unless she just did it off screen. But
no. I think her mum said that she called it on him because she said that she investigated it and that she found out that it's right. So she's like, "Well, I'm gonna have to sacrifice Jack for the."
No. In the second episode, or maybe the first episode, she got a call. No, I think it was the second episode. She got a call from that detective that came to get Jack and said, "Hey, I need you to come down to the station and give us some witness, because of the fire at his apartment." And I don't think she ever went down to the station to give that statement.
No, she never did.
So not that it's really a plot hole per se, but it's just kind of
it's a plot,
in my opinion, an oversight.
But yeah, it was interesting to see because the fact that her mum appeared to be so cold. It was actually Kate the one who was like very emotional, saying like, I'm sorry that you had to go through this and blah blah blah. And she seemed to be the more emotional type. So it was a big red flag to me that her mom, her mum had some more hands behind this, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and you saw him, you saw him, I never worked a day in my life and stuff like that. I'll be back home for Christmas, no problem. Really, but he's a weird character, There's those things that need to be resolved. Arnold was murdered in the first episode. These things, there's a lot of loose ends that need to be tied up and can't be forgotten about. We need to know who killed him.
I mean, it probably was her. I would put money on it that it was.
Oh, I think it's her as well. They
Yeah,
were
but that's
arguing
why.
and
But
stuff.
she was. But that's why I'm saying she's the swordsman. He was stabbed. He wasn't shot. He was. I mean, so that's why I'm saying he is a good swordsman, but she is the villain swordsman that's in this. Like the
No,
actual
in their
version.
house, there's
Huh?
fucking swords everywhere. She could just pull one. Just because she used a sword
Okay.
doesn't make her a swordsman. Listen, you got the kingpin wrong. You got this one wrong too. I guarantee it.
Okay.
I'll
Well,
tell you what, Santa. We'll make a bet with you. If you're wrong, you can send us a bag of nuts. There you go.
Yes, I'll give you these nuts down here for sure.
No, a bag of Christmas nuts rather than
Okay. Well, I got Kingpin wrong, but that's only because I was hoping to be wrong. But I was thinking it was going to be a bait and switch, and it was going to be another Mephisto. Anyway, so I'm glad I was wrong, and I even said that I was hoping I was wrong, but I was thinking they were leaning more towards the bait and switch. Anyway, and I'm pretty sure that Kate's mom is going to be good at swords, and if she's good with swords, I consider her the actual swordsman. So these nets right here. Anyway, so the next scene we go into is Clint is standing in front of the Battle of New York memorial that has all of the names of the Avengers that were fighting there that day.
Mhm.
And Clint's standing there talking. He turns his hearing aid off and he wants to talk to Natasha. He says he really needs to talk with her, and basically says he doesn't know what to do. Well, not that he doesn't know what to do, but she's going to have to forgive him for what he does or what he has to do. So I felt like this was a very good moment for Clint, just because I think he feels he's in over his head at this point. And I'm not talking about on a galactic scale, like fighting Thanos. He knows he's in over his head. This one, he's kind of like, okay, this is kind of my wheelhouse. It's street level, but even here, I feel like I'm in over my head. And and he knows he has to do what he has to do to end this, and that's why he's like, I only see this playing out one way, and unfortunately, I have to make peace with it. And it's funny that he has to make peace with Natasha rather than himself, because I feel like he kind of gave up on making peace with himself years ago.
Yeah, I mean the thing is that this was the switching point where we see that Cliff Barton basically had to leave his own persona behind and become Ronin again. And that the fact that he said he was speaking to Natasha, through the what's the word, the plaque on the building, and he's just and then all of a sudden he's talking to Linda Cardellini on the phone, and she's like going, you have to do what you have to do. And you can almost hear her say that there's things that Lesson said where he was saying to come home to us and stuff like that. It was just like it's like he was basically asking permission to become Ronin again, because she must know about that, because I think she was blipped, if memory serves right.
Yeah, and how family was.
Yeah. So Ronin, she probably knows about it because Clint's told her about it. So the thing is that now he has to become that again. It was good to see that sort of transformation without it kind of being said that was what was going to happen, and we didn't know that until literally the arrow hit the Tracksuit Mafia's truck. He just went, "Toof!" I went in, and they're literally like, "You had that little note."
What is this? A note for babies?
I personally don't think he was in over his head. I just felt like, fuck, I got to do more of this killing and billing and shit. Because remember, he's got lots of dead on his ledger. So killing people is just something he does. He's killed all types of gangsters, Yakuza most recently. We saw it in the end game. But it's just something he thought he far as he was concerned, he left behind once he got his family back. But unfortunately, he has to go back to this persona one more time, and he didn't want to do that. And that's why he feels like he's breaking his promise with Nat, and that's why he had to do that little monologue to that plaque.
Daniel Vance says that the plaque Clint stares at is Monument 325, GH 325 is Project Tahiti. It's a magical place. Agent Coulson is confirmed as a baddie. Confirmed. That's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Daniel Vance, you are a superstar for realizing that, because I know of what G325, but I would have never have made that correlation. And I watched all of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So good for you, sir. Good for you. You are the superstar. You get a gold star. Not Santa Claus today.
I've been right the whole bloody time, unlike yourself.
Yeah, well, whatever. Okay, so also one thing that I did want to point out is that Steve Rogers was at the top of that list of heroes on the plaque, because Captain America Steve Rogers was the leader of the Avengers, not Tony Stark. Just because he's the more popular one, Captain America was the man with the plan.
And Barton was at the bottom.
Yes, and Clint Barton was at the bottom because he's a bottom. Anyway. Okay, so the next part we roll into is we're back at Kate's house, and I'm trying to remember what this part was. I mean,
yeah, she's on the phone trying to call him.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, this was the incessant voicemails.
Yeah, because he's taking the hearing aid out, and she's like leaving voicemails like a fucking, grumpy ex-partner. Just voicemail after voicemail after voicemail, and because she wants to find him and get hold of him, but obviously he's taking the hearing aid out now. He's going to fight Echo at her level. So yes, so there was no way he could hit the phone. Maybe vibrate, but no, not that either.
I just think he was ignoring her calls. I think he knew she was calling. He just ignored them.
Yeah, for sure.
Gary, do you have anything to add about this part?
That's exactly my response.
Yeah, and I agree, Daniel Vance, that Kate calling Clint over and over again reminded me of Peter calling Happy, which, typical. So the next scene we roll into is which we already kind of mentioned about, the Tracksuit Mafia guys are driving down the road. They're talking bullshit. And then as they come, I think it's into an alleyway or into a back parking lot or something, they get an arrow in the windshield and it has the note and it says, come meet me where we first met, or something along those lines. And so that basically sets up the confrontation between, well, it's addressed to Maya, which is Echo. So it starts that whole process of where they're going to have that final confrontation. So this is also the scene where I think this is the scene where I think this is when he talks to Laura, right? Like this is where he talks to Laura about all that. And I like the line where she says, well, you're not asking me for permission, because she said, go, she said, do what you got to do. And then, she's like, what, you didn't want to hear that? So I really
think that was just before the plaque, in my opinion. Because once he took the hearing aid out, he never put it back in.
I so wanted the letter to end with bring the arrow to call back how there are no more trick arrows. Line Clinton made in the earlier episode. Yeah, that's true. That would have been funny. See, that's the comedy I like, the subtle comedy. I don't know. The Yelena Belova stuff was a little bit much.
I think. By the way, did you notice in Grill's apartment, he had like a sort of workshop in the background? Did you notice that?
In Grill's apartment?
Yeah. I noticed that the second time watching that when they were having the pizza, and I was thinking to myself, I bet in the final episode, Hawkeye makes some trick arrows in that workshop.
Gary?
I thought that this. I agree with what you guys were saying, that it just seemed like it was like a callback to that particular thing, and I like the fact that he wants to be with Echo. He actually doesn't use the word Echo. He uses her actual name. Says, it's going to be here. So he's like,
Maya.
yeah. He's like, he wants it to be at this specific site that has, meaning for both of them. So he's like, I want this. This is where I want to end it. And it was just like, and and to be honest, like, I love this because, like, she, when you see her, this was the most personality we've seen out of this. And again, it's nothing to do with the actress; it's to do with the amount of screen time and what they basically had to do. Because we got to see, that she's conflicted. There's a little bit of fear, there's a little bit of anger in her performance. That I think, that's all done in gesture. That's not done with vocals. That she's just like looking and stuff like that. So. I like this. I like that. This was one of my favorite scenes of this particular episode. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, okay. I do like the fact that this actress has to portray everything just through facial expressions. We have to get just that. She can't speak. She can't even make any sort of noise really. So it's just her expressions and that's it. And it's good enough. It's very I like it. And you have to be on board and understand what the hell is going on.
Okay. So next, that builds us up to the final confrontation between, well, not the final, but the confrontation between Ronin, not Hawkeye, Ronin in the suit, and Echo, Maya. And so, of course, during this scene, Ronin's taking out all the tracksuit mafia guys at the Fat Man car lot or whatever it's called. Arkham Knight style or Arkham Asylum style.
This was the first time that I thought, like when Santa Claus said that it's the Kingpin, and as soon as he said the Fat Man, I thought, this is definitely the Kingpin. As soon as he went to the Fat Man flaming, whatever it was, I was like, yeah, that's a big king, because he's always using
Fat Man Auto Repairs was in the third episode, I think.
Yeah,
as well.
It's shown up. I thought it was going to be a bait and switch.
And the pinch of the cheek, the big guy uncle. There were so many bloody clues. Unlike Mephisto, where people were theorizing with no fucking clues, there were tons of clues that this was the bloody Kingpin, which is why I told you earlier in a previous review that I betted both my testicles, and now I have 4.
You have 4 what?
Testicles.
Oh, okay.
Because I won the bet, and so I got double.
Yeah. Okay. So whatever. I mean, it could have gone like the whole thing with Mephisto though was that it was in the comic books. So everybody is, there were so many clues from the comic books. Like, okay, well there were clues, and I never really thought it was Mephisto.
Me too.
But at the same time, it's like you can't cite comic books anymore, because sometimes they'll take that and they'll use it against us. In this case, they didn't. They took it from the comic book and they used it for what it was. But in the comic books, Scarlet Witch and Mephisto and her kids and all that, that's a thing. Like, that was a thing.
No, I understand, but the clues weren't really there in WandaVision. For Christ's sake, bloody Monica Rambeau says that she is an engineer friend, and everyone fucking thought it was Reed Richards.
Well, that was terrible. There was no basis on that one. Anyway,
I agree, because because all of these people, these theories and these ideas were just, they're pulling it out of their ass. Unlike this, the fucking clues were all over the place. The moment that girl got that little Maya had her fucking mouth pinched, I thought, oh, Kingpin. And then I was confirmed when I saw Fat Man Auto Repairs, the uncle, the guy at the top, all of these things. It just confirmed it for me,
And it was good to see, as I said, like, this. I thought this was the best episode. This is the best scene of the episode because, we see her get off, and you can see this sort of like when she sees him, he's almost like the ghost of your past. Like the biggest, like a demon from your past. It's literally like, because the way he comes out of like this like smoky sort of like alleyway, and he comes forward, and he's really like. It's not well. It's more like a karate movie, like more than Batman. It's more
No,
like
no, but
like the big bad like comes out and you see him with his sword out, and we see him like and like her look is literally like fear, anger.
yeah,
All these things
Batman.
yeah, and it was awesome to see because this was the most characterization we had of Maya, that she's a complex person, that she has more than the one emotion tied to this thing that she's been hunting.
Well,
And
look,
that is not just revenge she's looking for, but she's also afraid.
look,
In the way that
Ronin is sorry, but Hawkeye is an assassin. He kills people stealthily. So that Batman element was there. The moment he was taking those people out, all the henchmen, pure fucking Batman. Putting the fear of God into everyone. It's funny because at one point, one guy he shoots himself in the leg, and I thought to myself, isn't that noise going to alert everyone? But no, Maya's deaf. She's not going to fucking hear it. Yes. So
But you could
it's
still
very
feel
clever.
the impact like of a gun. It still makes an impact sound. So like
Does
you can still feel that. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I mean, unless she's used to gunfire, which is possible, but it's like when a gun goes off, it's not just hearing it; it's also feeling it. If you're
Okay.
close enough.
Okay.
So anyway, okay. So throughout this whole fight scene, it takes out the tracksuit mafia guys. Then her and Clint and Maya start fighting. It's actually a really good fight scene. I was very impressed with the
yeah,
choreography there.
because he swings his sword and then she puts it out of his hand and then they do like hand fighting. Like, well, I wouldn't say it's karate, but it's like kung fu-ish.
Well, and doesn't
So
she have a prosthetic leg? I
yeah,
thought.
Yeah,
in real
but
life, yeah.
at the same time, like this is a different Ronin. Yeah, because this Ronin doesn't want to kill anybody. He never killed any of the mafia. Never killed the guy that Kazi never killed him either. If it was old Ronin, those motherfuckers would be dead. But this
Yeah.
Ronin didn't want to kill anybody. He just wanted to put the fear of God in those people, which is what he tried to do. That's why he even revealed his face, which I thought was a stupid move in my opinion.
And when
But
he on the sun says, "Look, I just want this to be the end." And she said, "You're a monster." He says, "I was told by the employer to kill your dad." And it's just like, "Oh, who's the employer?" And then as soon as she's about to tell him, she does something. She gets on the sun. She's about to do it, and then the thing gets turned on by Kate Bishop, and I thought that was an awesome scene. That's the first time I thought, "Yeah, we've got Kate Bishop the archer now. Now we have like Kate Bishop the hero." Rather than
mhm.
just being like a Hawkeye fangirl. No, she's her own thing. So that's cool to see.
Yep.
Yeah,
So Kate Bishop saves Hawkeye. Well, Clint Barton. And then everybody kind of disperses. Clint Barton basically, as Ronan said, uh, uh, Clint Barton basically lets her know, look, I was there. Your informant tipped him off. Like it was, it was. I think he said it was one of your own people or something like that. Like that tipped off, like where they
mhm.
would be and everything like that. And and we did talk a little bit about this, basically saying that Kazi was not there that night, and everybody wasn't. He was in town, and everybody was there except for him. So that's always pretty damning evidence right there. And Daniel Vance makes a comment to the next part when Kate Bishop and Clint are escaping. Kate uses the user pickup her and Clint, proves that she doesn't understand that she's a liability to everyone she encounters as an Avenger, and that is true. I mean, I thought it was
Yeah,
odd that there was an
she
Uber.
hired a fucking Uber.
I thought it was funny, but I'm like, that could have been Zam. Like that could have
Mhm.
that could have been our friend who is on vacation right now and not here on this podcast, Zam. So I mean, Zam, I just want you to know, if you're watching, that I don't endorse putting Uber drivers or any kind of taxi drivers or anything like that in danger. I think it is bad. So anyway,
Thank you.
I'm not talking to you, Zanta. I'm talking to Zam.
I would relay that message to him.
Anyway, so I thought it was funny, but Daniel Vance makes a good point. Is like, if Yelena is, if like, let's say Yelena is, I know we know that she's not, but like, if an assassin, she was more of a cold-blooded killer, she could have just gone after him in the car, and then that Uber driver is also in danger, not just her and Clint. So that's a really good point.
I just want to go back actually, way back, because Yelena is convinced that Clint killed Natasha. But Kate Bishop said to Yelena that I know who Clint is, and maybe the person giving you the information is incorrect. Now, I it's amazing because I feel like at the end of Black Widow, the post-credit scene, it is kind of pretty much the same time as this show, and I think like SoCal Val, she's like a double agent, triple agent in the comics. So maybe once, sorry if I'm trying to be very accurate here, but maybe when Kate's mom found out that her daughter was working with Hawkeye, she put a hit out on Hawkeye by getting hold of Sokaval, and then Sokaval gets hold of Yelena to kill fucking Hawkeye.
Well, she did in one of the previous episodes. She did make a phone call, and she did remember she's like, "I need you now." Like there was a quick scene. It was after I think Hawkeye and Kate had left, the house, or after I'm sorry, Clinton had left the house. She had made a call saying that I need you now, and that's what I was thinking was, is that Clint was is that that was going to be the call to Yelena. So that so
And
that makes a lot of
and
sense.
on top of that, Clint did not know that Yelena was Natasha's sister. I thought he knew that last week when he saw her, but that wasn't the case. He only found out once Kate told her in Uber. So it
No,
seemed to
that's
come
the
in
next part I
together.
was getting to. Thanks a lot, Zam.
I'm sorry,
I mean,
yeah, but
Santa.
but it's gonna be interesting now to see where this goes. Will there be any doubt in Yelena? Will there be any doubt in Maya? It's gonna be interesting to see what happens in the next episode.
Well, and I want to. You brought up a very good point, Santa, where you have these connections now, and with the reveal at the end of the episode, I'm not talking about it technically right now, but it does revolve around what we're doing right here. Is what if the Kingpin is the MCU's version of like the Norman Osborn that's the leader of the Dark Avengers? You know how in the comic books that Norman Osborn is leader of the Dark Avengers. What if it's what if it's Kingpin here? What if Kingpin is the one pulling the strings with the Dark Avengers? Like, because Yelena's obviously like, yeah, Yelena was deployed by Val, but does Val then work for Kingpin? Like, we're
Well,
kind of connecting some dots here, and
the,
it's kind of getting a little hazy.
you make some good points, but I would like Kingpin to be the Thanos, but street level Thanos. Like the street level Thanos, where all of these Avengers, Spider Man, Daredevil, Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, all of these street level New Yorkers get together to take down this giant mafia boss who runs everything.
Defenders season 2, it's coming.
Oh god.
Hmm.
Well, season one didn't
Yeah.
work out that great, so but again, like what I'm hoping that is that we get this Vincent D'Onofrio if there's going to be a Hawkeye season 2 or maybe an Echo or something, like because again, I love to see Vincent D'Onofrio in anything because he's a great actor. So,
I think there's more for I think now that he's here, I think Vincent D'Onofrio is going to be a more present, whether it's on Disney Plus
right,
shows or whether it's
Marvel,
in the movies
right,
and Disney Plus shows.
Marvel, can you listen to me a second, right? Do not kill off Vincent D'Onofrio. He is one of your
Oh,
best
no.
villains.
They're not going to kill him off.
No.
They're not going to. No, he'll get arrested. He'll go to jail. That's what's going to happen to him. Plus, we're talking about people who don't kill. Daredevil's not a killer. Spider Man's not a killer. I know Hawkeye is. Well, Hawkeye kind of is. Kate Bishop, I'm not sure. But nevertheless, I don't think they're going to kill him off. I think they're going to start learning that they need to put some of these guys on the back burner. And they just brought him in. Plus, I really don't think his part is going to be super significant. Like Kate's mom is the bad guy.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't think he's going to play a huge role in the final episode.
yes, it's going to be safe for the Echo series. You know,
I hope
and
not.
plus, I
I
think it's
want him
going
to
to
be
be
more
no,
present
but
than that.
I think this Kingpin is more of a bad guy towards Echo considering he ordered the hit on her father, then it would be to Clinton Kate. If you know, what I mean, Clinton Kate, their issue is with Kate's mom and that fucking watch as well. I really need to know what the hell that watch is about. They need to answer that, and we need to find out who killed Arnold. I'm sure that will be revealed to Kate's mom as well. No, but they have to tie up a few loose ends, in my opinion, in this. In this,
So Daniel Vance
yes,
says
yeah,
Spider-Man did initiate instant
yes.
kill in Endgame.
I
He's a
brought that
killer.
up as well. I brought that up as well. You know,
Well, I'd like to
I
think that Tom Holland's Spider-Man is again Spider-Man to me is not a killer, and I hate the fact that they turned him into one in all the films. But that's a rant for a different day.
no, I never
I
thought that
don't
video.
I don't consider the Mad Dogs or whatever those things are called of Thanos' army. They're I don't consider like instant kill on those. Like okay, whatever. It's either it's either kill or be eaten. What are you gonna pick? You know, that's like everybody having the argument about a Man of Steel, where it's like, oh, Superman doesn't kill. He didn't snap or he snapped Zod's neck. Or it's like, you know what?
Did you not see Superman
Me.
2 with Christopher Reeve? He fucking killed Zod in that one too. You know, he crushed his fucking hand and then killed him. You know, like
Yeah,
yeah,
again, like,
he
I'm
killed
against
fucking
massive.
nuclear man. He fucking used him as fucking power, a fuel source.
As I said, I'm not a big fan of my superheroes killing.
Well,
Just.
I think there are three different type of heroes. There are the heroes that kill, the heroes that don't, and the heroes that kill out of necessity because it's for the greater good. And I know that that's a gray area. It's a very gray area, but in situations like Man of Steel with Superman and stuff, and like Spider-Man and Endgame, like with the stupid dog things, like that's kind of a necessity. It's either So I
Well,
understand like my heroes don't kill. Well, the world's not fair all the time. So if you want Spider-Man to die, if you wanted those people that Zod was trying to kill to die, then okay. You know what?
most of the heroes are the heroes that kill out of necessity anyway. But then you got the heroes who kill, and I look at them more as the anti-hero types, like your Punishers. You know, who has no problems being in a, people are trying to kill him, and he could maybe take them out without killing them, but fuck that, he'll kill them anyway.
Yeah.
And so and I like that. I like that a lot about him. If you're gonna kill me, then prepare to die yourself. And I like that attitude
Yeah.
about him.
So we get the very end scene where they're also Clint and Clinton Kate go back to the LARPers. What was his name again?
Grills.
Grills. They go back to Grills' house, and the most important part of the episode is revealed at this point. Pizza Dog knows tricks. Why doesn't my pizza dog know any tricks? Hey, why don't you know any tricks? Turd.
They still haven't named him yet.
My pizza dog don't know no tricks.
Okay.
Oh, that dog is cute. Sorry. But yeah, when he takes her in, he says, "Look, I'm just very scared because I'm scared that the big guy's getting involved. You know, this guy." And he pulls out the photograph, and then it was Kate's mum with the kingpin. I was just like,
That's the big reveal.
And it's like I was like, are we getting Kingpin in the next episode? I mean, like this season seems a bit clustered for all six episodes of it. If we're gonna get him in,
yeah, 6 episodes is definitely 8 episodes would have been better in my opinion. At the same time, I'm very happy that the reveal of Kate's mom being the baddie was this episode and not the final episode. Because I think the way this was written that it wanted you to assume that she was the baddie. I don't think they were too busy trying to surprise you by the looks of things, or maybe we just become seasoned television and movie fans that we kind of get the gist of things. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing: we have what we do is we throw everything against the wall, and then as things go on, we whittle it down, and then we're always right because we throw everything again. We throw every theory against the wall, and some of them are wrong, but we just, as fans, we're throwing every theory out there. It's up against the wall, and then as things get crossed off the list, we narrow it down, and then we're like, oh, we were right the whole time. Even though you throw every theory at the wall, you're guaranteed to be right about something.
Daniel Francis got some advice for you, Cheeto. That apparently pizza is a key for your dog to do tricks, but apparently it will also make a stinky mess for you.
Yeah, I'm about to say he's gonna make a stinky mess if I give him pizza, man. He gets the run so bad when he eats cheese. Oh God, it's terrible. It smells bad too. Okay, so the final scene is Kingpin revealed. The Kate's mom is in league with Kingpin. Yelena's actually, I think I forgot to mention earlier, but Yelena's the one who kind of followed Kate's mom to where she was meeting Kingpin. So all has been revealed now. We have all the information. No more surprises, right?
Well, no. He told them that this person hired me. I will be really interested to see how Kate handles this in the next episode, finding out that your mum was the bad guy all along, and it'll be interesting to see where that goes.
Well, I've said that the whole time. I mean,
it'll be interesting to see where that goes. But I know you said we were throwing a lot of things at the wall, but a couple of things I would. I was adamant on with Kate's mom being the baddie, Jack being the bait and switch, and Kingpin being in the show.
No, I said that I was the original one who said that Kate's stepdad was going to be the bait and switch.
I thought that too. No, you might have mentioned that, but I thought that from the very beginning.
Okay. Since it's Xanta's time of year, I'll let you have it, I guess.
No, you can have it too. No, but we both thought
it's all on YouTube, so we can.
Show it over till Linda Barton reveal. Who the hell's Laura Barton?
Laura Barton is his wife.
What's Linda Cardellini?
Yeah, yes. That's true. We need reveal. We need Laura to show up in the last episode and start doing some Agent May levels of bullshit. Like
what, get guns out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that. Who's going to look after the kids?
They're old enough. They can watch after the little one. The one boy's like 16.
Yeah, but you need one parent there. You need that. They need a parent.
No, actually, that isn't who I thought was going to show up. I thought, there's two people who I think might show up, and I know one of them's going to get Cheeto to roll his eyes at me. One of them is going to be Daredevil, because we've now got Vincent and Afro here. The other one, and I know this is going to get Cheeto definitely to roll his eyes, is going to be Tom Holland. Maybe we're going to get him in it, just like a Spider-Man, just like, rolling in.
No, I'm not sure.
In New York, the Kingpin, he's a Spider-Man villain. Boom.
Yeah, I know, but they're not utilizing the Kingpin in this in a Spider-Man Daredevil manner. I can't remember.
He's a Hawkeye villain as well. He's a Daredevil villain.
Kingpin has been every street level villain criminal or a bad guy at one point. So,
yeah.
Zanta, you did mention earlier that, and I don't remember if this was before the program or in the beginning of the program, about that Yelena did mention about the new and improved Statue of Liberty, which is actually and from what we've seen from the trailer is probably a link into No Way Home. So, so that's kind of like that little Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. crossover moment where it's just a little it's just a little blurb and a message, but us fans, we gobble that shit up.
Yeah, for sure. It's just good writing and good, linkage and stuff like that. I don't think we're gonna look. The big reveal is Kingpin. I think it'll be a disservice to throw in Spider-Man, to throw in Daredevil. For what? Just to take, this next episode is the episode where Kate becomes Hawkeye. Hopefully, this is what it's all about. And the last thing we need is things to be taken away from them. Echo needs to start her beef with the Kingpin. Yelena maybe needs to, to resolve the issue with Barton. I think as well, once she found out that the mom is the one who hired her, she'll probably think, okay, maybe I won't kill Barton. Maybe this was just her trying to make me kill Barton because Barton is working with my daughter. So maybe these sort of things will come into play. There's a lot of things they need to tap the watch as well, as I mentioned as well. There are being revealed as a spy, hopefully, as well. There's so many things we need to tie up. So bringing anybody else into the mix, I don't think would be a good thing. Kazi as well. Is he an informant or was it somebody else? All of these things, they need to be tied up next week.
Agree.
Arnold as well. All of these.
Well, I don't know,
Yeah.
because hopefully Jeremy Renner will do another season of this, because it's good to see him back. But
Well,
I don't know.
I think after this, I think Hawkeye is done. Like Hawkeye, Clint Barton's
Yeah.
Hawkeye. I feel like if they do a season 2, it'll mostly be focused on Kate Bishop, and you might get one episode where Clint Barton comes in, or you'll have a scene where she's talking to Clint, and she's like trying to maybe work through a problem with him. There might be something like that, but I really feel like that they're really setting this up that Clint's retiring. I don't think he's dying, but I think he's definitely retiring, and Hawkeye season 2 is going to be about Kate Bishop.
Okay.
I think it's more like, I think for the sake of the character of Clint Barton, is like, like let him just be with his family, Like the guy, he deserves it, and I would like to see Kate Bishop take up the mantle. Yeah, I
But I
really would.
also agree. I like the way they're doing this because they're basically saying that everything comes around, like everything. Even Clint said, he said we live by our actions, or whatever. And I mean, Clint did some pretty messed up shit during the blip.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, that's kind of why it's a little bit. I agree with what they're doing here to that effect. Is that, and you know what, Clint owns up to it, and he's just like, I don't know, what does Clint do when his bag of trick arrows is empty? He retires. That is true. He does. Why replace when you can just retire?
I mean, as I said, I don't know. As I said, I still like Jeremy Renner in this, and he still looks old, young enough to kind of do this. But it might be one of those
He's
things where
50.
Yeah, but I mean, he looks young though. That's what I'm saying. He doesn't look like he's 50. He looks like he's 40s tops.
That's
I
because
mean,
he's a Hollywood actor. They keep themselves in good shape, but um, I'm. It's not about Jeremy Renner. It's just more to do with the character. I would like him to have a secondary role, more of a mentor role, if in the future, without him, you know, without him doing all this crazy shit. Maybe we see in the odd episode or two in Hawkeye season 2 with following Kate Bishop that she goes to the Clinton ranch, sorry, the Barton ranch to speak to Clint and get some advice and stuff like
yeah,
that.
that's what I was saying. Like, I think in season 2 he'll show up, but it'll be like either a phone call or like he'll show up at the farm or something like that.
So, what do we think is going to happen next episode, folks?
Well, hopefully get everything resolved. I think that we're going to see some Kingpin. I don't think we're going to get like anything huge with Kingpin. I think honestly it's going to be this. They're playing this almost exactly like they did Loki, except Kingpin was revealed at the end of this episode, whereas in Loki we got Kang at the end, at the beginning of episode 6. But I really feel like Kingpin's not going to play like a major role. I feel like it's going to be more of an exposition. Like he's probably going to set the exposition tone for Echo's story, or there's going to be a conversation between him and Clint where it's like, hey, look, okay, we've kind of turned up all the stones here, where we've tossed all the temple tables here, where there's a bunch of shit going down, but we need to come to an amicable conclusion here about what we're going to do, because I want to go home to my family. You're doing whatever you're doing, and Hawkeye knows. He knows he can't beat Kingpin. Not in, like, maybe in a physical altercation he can, but in a power type of way he can't.
They will find that Kingpin gained his power from the blip power vacuum. I don't know, because Adrian Toomes did quite a lot of getting a lot of tech and got a lot of things done. So we don't know what happened to him during the blip. Like, was he still in jail? Did he get out?
I feel that whatever this watch is, will be associated with Kingpin.
Yeah. Now that he's here, I agree with you.
Yeah, that's for sure. The
watch it's
Kingpin.
Like, all right, here's what I reckon the watch is going to be. You guys can feel free to disagree with me. I think it's going to be like a list of like all of his contacts, all of his like blackmail information he has is in this watch. It's like some sort of decoder thing.
It might be like there might be like a USB hookup to it or something, and I mean, there might be information on there, maybe bank account numbers or something, maybe contacts, maybe maybe blackmail.
It might be, yeah.
It's not a terrible theory.
I think it's blackmail information on superheroes, so they won't come after him. So I think that's the reason why he said when Clint was saying, I think she's decoded the watch. She was worried that he'd found out like who he really is, like all his information, like who his wife is and all this sort of stuff about his kids, and like because that it had stuff about Steve Rogers that we didn't know. It had stuff about
that he's a Hydra agent.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Steve Rogers is a Hydra agent.
I do feel that the watch information will be kind of underwhelming, but in the MCU, and I'm about to say apart from Spider-Man, but not really. They don't do secret identities, so information can be found out about these superheroes anyway.
I mean, Echo was finding out that information about Clint's family. Like, it wasn't. It's not that. I mean, I can't imagine Echo's that high on the totem pole where he could get that information just readily. Like,
yeah.
But the only thing is, did she? But at the same time, did she get that information from the watch?
I mean, I guess that's a good point. I didn't really think about that. That's a good point.
But nevertheless,
here's the other.
Yeah.
What?
No, go on. Continue.
Here's the other thing. So I don't really feel like Kingpin is an Avengers level villain, but why was the watch at at the Avengers compound then? Because remember, the tag said on it Avengers compound. So why was the watch at Avengers compound? Like, was it just they confiscated it because of the information on there about Clint's family? Like, did Hawkeye or Ronin go and get it and take it to Avengers compound because of all the sensitive information on there? If it was, why wouldn't they just wipe it? Like at Avengers compound, like why wouldn't they just wipe the information and get his Rolex back?
Well, I disagree with Santa Claus. I mean, I'm going to bet to the two testicles that he's just gained from his Kingpin bet that the information is actually going to be overwhelming and it's going to bring some new, blood into the MCU mix. That's just my.
It's a I got it, guys. It's a list of mutants in the world. X-Men confirmed.
Okay.
Apocalypse confirmed.
Look, not necessarily overwhelming, but definitely not underwhelming. But if that's the case, I'll be interested. But this is the real for me. This is the real conundrum. This watch, it's kind of been on the back burner, and it's been here, there, but not really mentioned too much. But yeah, we'll find out. Hopefully, we'll find out. This watch is really bugging me. It really is.
But as I said, I reckon it's going to be a list of superheroes and their secret identities. I've called my shot.
But they don't have secret identities, man.
Yeah, I mean, Spider-Man's even been out.
Yeah, all of them are open. Everyone knows that Steve Rogers is Captain America. Ford is, he doesn't have a secret identity. None of them do. And they know that Scott Lang is Ant-Man. They know that Rhodey is bloody War Machine. They know that Captain America now, is Sam Wilson. They know that Bucky Barnes is the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much information like that.
Yeah, T'Challa is Black Panther. They know all of this.
Yeah. So okay, well, let's go into final comments really quick. We've already kind of talked about what we want at the end of this series. You guys got any final comments going into it? Zanta, I'll start with you.
I just want a decent finale, and I want at the end of this season everything to be resolved. All my questions that need to be answered. Nothing lingering for another season. Obviously, Echo and Kingpin will go on to the next season, but Arnold we need to find out who killed him. We need to know about the watch and all of these things. So these things need to be answered. And then at the same time, I want a nice, happy Christmas ending with Clint and Kate together in the Barton house celebrating Christmas together because unfortunately, she'll probably get adopted by Clint. Oh, no, she can't be adopted. She's fucking 22. But she'll be taken in by the family.
Adopt an adult.
No, but you know, I mean, but taken in by the Barton family
Yeah.
because her mom is a bad guy. Her mom is a
Mhm.
bad guy. So no,
No,
no
I
more.
agree with you. I think that is going to be the end theme of this is family and Christmas, and Kate Bishop is going to be invited into the Barton home because basically her
Yes,
whole home has been
yes.
destroyed. Basically. Okay, Gary, or I'm sorry, Ronan. Right.
I agree with what Zanta just said. No, I just want a decent ending to the series because I think that Winter Soldier ending was a little bit. Some of it was good and some of it bad. So it was a bit uneven. I thought Loki's ending was pretty decent, though there wasn't really a lot of action in it. It was a lot more like he who remains and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, they basically turned the MCU out. Like they basically revealed the MCU's next major villain, though, in that one.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But I will say this though, like I hope that it is a decent tie up of, and that it is Jeremy Renner's send off into not longer being Hawkeye. I mean that and that we start Haley Steinfeld becoming the new hero. So that's fine with me. As I said, I do think that the watch is going to be like some sort of like decoding thing or some sort of information that can be decoded about like the heroes or maybe like there's more superpowered people.
Maybe
Not
a
like
key.
like oh, it's like some sort of key to like some sort of like vault or something. Like it could be like that. I mean, again, it could be anything. But that's the thing that we can expect. I just hope it's not underwhelming. I hope it is something that is worthy of being something like this. I mean, if it's a bit underwhelming, then I'm going to criticize it. You know what I mean? But that's it. Okay, really, what do you think?
Okay. All right. Well, I think we've kind of talked this episode to death. Our review is longer than the
Correct.
episode.
One more thing. Like you said that Kingpin is not an Avengers level villain, but I've always looked at Kingpin as the Lex Luthor of the MCU.
That's
You
Norman
know?
Osborn.
Yeah, yes.
Norman Osborn is the Lex Luthor of.
And what would you put Kingpin compared to DC?
I don't know. I
What
honestly have no.
Carmen Falcone?
No, Kingpin has no. Carmine Falcone's more localized in Gotham. I think
Kingpin's that would be. I'm trying to find good like a DC that's similar to it. Well, actually, I'll tell you something that actually does matter. It's not exactly a one-to-one comparison. It's Ra's al Ghul.
Oh my god! I was just gonna say maybe Ra's al Ghul.
Because the thing is that actually there's a crossover of Ra's al Ghul and Kingpin, and it works really really well. People say
Yeah,
Eventually,
in the what is it?
in the comics.
Yeah, in the comics. I remember that comic. And yeah, you're right. There Kingpin and Ra's al Ghul actually is a pretty good comparison. Maybe power wise, like because Kingpin's never like the front and center bad guy. He's like the shadow bad guy. Like he's the one who has informants everywhere. He has all the information, and he's got people to do the right things at the right times. Whereas Norman Osborn's in front of the lights. Everybody knows he's the Green Goblin. Everybody's seen him. He's very extravagant, does a lot of things himself, whereas Ra's al Ghul usually has people doing things for him, just like Kingpin. It's actually a very good
yeah,
comparison, Gary. I
that's a
was
good
just thinking the
comparison.
same
Yeah.
thing.
I've always loved Kingpin. I fucking love that character because he is a mafia boss who is, he's almost like bulletproof. Like the guy,
It's Muslim.
he's a guy who's so physically strong that he doesn't need a bodyguard. He's intimidating. He's super intelligent and super strong. He is the ultimate gangster. The ultimate gangster, and I
But
love this character so much.
can I just say? I mean, and again, I know that I'm probably going to get shouted at, but Michael Clark Duncan's Kingpin is actually a really really good portrayal of him.
Yeah,
me
I
too.
love Michael Clark Duncan's Kingpin. He was
Yeah,
great.
me too.
Some
He
people
was
give you
that
shit
was
when you
that
say
was
that.
the character right there that like I was like like if you were to that was the one right there that made me think, wow, I really shouldn't judge. Like I'm like, Kingpin, what what? Kingpin should be white, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, with that one right there, I liked his rendition so much. I'm like, why do I care? Like, why? Like, you know
plus,
what I
he
mean?
was really
Like,
invested in the character as well.
yeah,
Like,
he did justice to that character.
Because do you remember when he did Sin City and he played like a different sort of character? He played like somebody's bodyguard. He said
with the
that he
yellow
said
eye.
that he actually used that character. Said that character would be the Kingpin's bodyguard. So he's obviously that he had passion for that character. And again, I think it's the fact that it's just that there was so much bad around him. Again, I don't believe Ben Affleck, but I thought Colin Farrell was terrible as Bullseye. But you know, that's a different conversation.
Well, but yeah, I mean that's for a different day. Okay, guys, so let's wrap it up. We've been on for an hour and 15 minutes. We've done a great job talking this through. We'll probably talk more about this during our season recap if we do one on Hawkeye. Santa Claus, Ronin, thank you very much for joining me for this review of Hawkeye Episode 5, Ronin. You guys have, well, and we don't need anything else. So thank you for tuning in, everybody. If you can please give us a
I do have one more thing. I want to show you guys some t-shirts.
What the
I just got this today, and I don't want to do another unboxing video. So I'm going to unpackage them right now. Okay? It'll take me 2 minutes.
For God's sake. First. Zanta, you're supposed to be giving gifts, not receiving them.
Yeah, well.
Maybe this is a different sort of Zanta.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
well, you know what? If you are still tuning in and watching, leave us a comment below and tell us what your favorite part of Hawkeye episode was, and what's your favorite T-shirt of Zanta's that he's about to show off.
This one is the Riddler.
The glare, you can't even see it.
Oh, there you go. It.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Yeah. I like the Riddler.
Yeah, I wanted some more villains, on my chest, because villains are cool. People like villains, huh? You like villains. You're a villain, Bobby Black.
I am a villain.
Yes, you are.
Zanta is doing quality control. These presents are all for the little kids.
How the hell do I open this?
Thank you, Daniel Vance. And if you haven't liked, please give us a like. It helps with the algorithms and everything like that. Oh, here's the next one.
Marvel. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
It's nice, huh? Huh?
I wrote it as DC.
That's more generic.
I just showed you DC earlier with
That's more generic than Zam's dialogue.
With the Riddler. Look at this, it's got tape all over it. God
apparently we're now on the wrapping as well, folks.
Also, everybody, please subscribe to NerdTube. Yeah. We are the greatest YouTube channel you've maybe kind of sort of heard of. And as Santa Claus is trying to unwrap this present here of his own making.
This is the penultimate.
Penultimate. Okay, so we got one more.
Look at this.
Oh.
I should have worn this today.
Wow.
Daredevil.
Well, let's hope that Matt Murdock is in No Way Home. I don't know yet. Don't spoil it. Nobody spoil it. I don't know yet. I haven't seen
it. Yeah, don't spoil the fucking film.
Yeah, don't spoil the film. I haven't seen it yet.
This is the best one to last. As you know, I like.
Are you looking forward to it, Bobby? By the way, while Santa's.
Actually, I was just going to say, Ginger Greek has his spoiler and non-spoiler and spoiler review of Spider-Man No Way Home on the channel right now. So yes, all right. And here's the last one.
Flash, he kills
not the Flash.
Sorry,
the Reverse Flash, because he's my favorite character. The Reverse Flash.
It's an odd favorite character. Like I like him, but favorite?
Because the guy is a genius from the future, which makes him even more intelligent, and he's fucking crazy. Like really fucking crazy. He's a trickster as well, to a degree. He's just a fantastic character. I love the Reverse Flash.
Okay. All right, everybody. Well, that's going to be it for this one.
Anyway,
Now that
we've
we've
got a
gotten
road.
all the unwrapping and we've gotten all the plugs and, and everything like that. We will catch you tomorrow for Star Trek Discovery. I will not be there because I will be seeing Spider-Man Far From Home, but I will be back for my Young Justice review. Zanta Claus and maybe a guest co-host will be on tomorrow to do Discovery. So, or it'll just be Zanta himself, spreading his package of love all over everybody.
Mm.
We'll catch you guys in the next one. Catch you later.
Ciao.
Bye bye.